So we've got you to this point, and now we're going to start talking about your team members. So we're going to go kind of high level here. Again, we're going to give a little bit of detail on some of these people because you got to know what I'm talking about, who they are, why they are, and how much they are. Don't be afraid to pay for a mentor you paid to go to college. This has the potential to make you millions of dollars and phenomenally, fabulously wealthy. Pay for help. So find a mentor to walk you through this. And when you find a mentor, find somebody that's done it, that is currently doing it, but not only done it and doing it, but is doing it well. Make sure they're making money, make sure they're being successful. So next, we're going to actually get into the people that are actually going to be on your team. Your mentor is going to walk you through how to work with all these people, but these are the people you're going to need. So you're going to need a listing broker, or what some people will call a real estate agent if you're used to buying a home to live in. It's your real estate agent in commercial properties. So your listing broker, they're the ones that are going to go out and basically drum up business with sellers. They're going to list these things for sale. You're going to be buying from that broker, basically. So the broker usually works as an intermediary. They have a fiduciary to the person they're selling the property for, but they're usually going to be the only person involved from a broker's standpoint within the real estate itself. Buyer's brokers in this industry are exceedingly rare. It's very hard to find one. So just understand, you're going to be dealing with the listing broker on this. Next is the mortgage broker. So the listing broker is dealing with the property itself. The mortgage broker is the person that's going to be your advocate throughout this entire process. They're the ones that are going to farm out your loan across the nation very often. If you've got a good mortgage broker, they will have a massive database, a massive Rolodex of people that can lend to you. So they are your advocate. They're the ones that they don't get paid until you get a loan. They're never going to lie for you. They're never going to encourage you to lie. You have to be honest. You have to be forthright. Don't ever do that crap because that's fraudulent. You'll go to jail for it. But the mortgage broker is going to take your information and package it in a way that makes you look good, put you in your best light. You submit your real estate bio, your real estate resume. You might have brought your resume from working at 7-Eleven. Well, that ain't going to work. They're going to say, okay, this is the resume you've always used. Let's word it this way, and let's kind of gear it toward real estate. So they're, again, your advocate. They don't get paid unless you get the loan, so they're going to do everything in their power to be the intermediary between yourself and the end lender to make sure that process goes well. Then you're going to work with a real estate attorney and a syndication attorney. The real estate attorney, they're the ones that are going to help you go through the offer, the letter of intent, to get a property under contract. They're going to help you negotiate that contract because the letter of intent is the high level like deal structure. I propose to pay you this much for that property. I will take 30 days to inspect it, and I'll have another 30 days to get my lending in order. Okay, very, very high level. How much earnest money are you going to come to the table with when you do this? That's all in the letter of intent. Once they agree to your letter of intent, now you get into the actual PSA or the purchase sale agreement. There's all the fine details. This is where your real estate attorney is going to come in. They're going to help you negotiate that. And again, they're an intermediary. You will never have direct contact, or very rarely, with the seller. The two of us, the buyer and the seller, are not going to talk. Things can get a little contentious, get a little awkward, so we are separated basically by the real estate attorneys on both sides. So they're going to negotiate for us. They're going to be looking out for us, making sure like the survey is good, making sure title is clear, running UCC searches. More information on that in the book. So they're the ones kind of walking you through the process of actually getting the thing closed. Then your syndication attorney actually will come in before your real estate attorney usually. The syndication attorney, remember, you're going out and you're getting a piece of property, commercial asset, an apartment complex. So you're buying real estate through a business, right? You're going to structure an LLC that will then go out and buy a piece of property. You or none of your investors will own the apartment complex directly. You're going to own part of that company that goes out and buys that property. That's it. Now remember, we're talking about syndication here. So your syndication attorney in that process is going to talk to you about the compensation that you're going to put in place for yourself. What to do if you didn't raise enough money. Don't do that. You better raise enough money. But if you don't raise enough money or some unforeseen catastrophic thing happens that you don't have enough money in the bank for, you have to do what's called a cash call. Go back out to your investors after you've been operating this thing for a year or two and go, "Ooh, I don't have enough money, guys. I need more money." he's going to walk you through all that too. He's going to talk to you about how you get compensated, when the investors have a right to vote. They don't have many votes in these things because you can't tie up a syndication with having to canvass everybody every time a decision has to be made. But they'll cover all of the voting privileges, all the voting times, and what'll happen if you ever have to be extracted from the process. Let's say you become mentally incapacitated. All the clauses are in there too. So your syndication attorney is going to put all the legal documents together, talking about all the risks in investing. They're going to put together the subscription agreement. They're going to put together the operating agreement. Basically, this is how it's all going to be structured and how it's all going to be managed. After that, you've got your commercial insurance agent. Don't go to the guy that insures your car and say, hey, I got a property for you to insure. They don't know what they're doing. Even if they tell you they do, do not use them. Use a commercial insurance agent, somebody that has experience writing insurance for an apartment complex. They are used to doing this. They know what is needed in these policies, so they're going to be able to make this work a lot faster for you. And they're usually going to be more competitive on rate too, by a lot. You're also going to be looking at a management company. Most of you will not self-manage. Again, I do. I love everything about it. Most people hate everything about it. I would say 80, maybe even 90%, but probably closer to 80% of the people that do what I do, they want no part of a management company. They want to outsource that. So you're going to have somebody that you're going to interview, figure out who's a good fit for you. You're going to talk to them about their fee structure, what that fee structure covers, how they go about managing, what kind of reporting they're going to send to you on a monthly basis. So they're going to be the ones managing the property for you. Again, you're the asset manager. You're managing the company that owns that real estate. The management company is actually going to manage that real estate. And then toward the end, but the thing that really keeps it all together, you can be out there being a very, very good operator or overseeing a very good operating management company, but if the books are a mess, you're a mess. So you want a good bookkeeper and or a CPA. The CPA, because you need somebody to do your tax return at the end of the year. Do not go to H&R Block or TurboTax. Don't do that. Just like on your attorneys, do not go to LegalZoom. It's a great company, but not for this. Pay good people, experienced people, highly qualified people to make sure you do this the right way. If you put crap numbers into your system from a bookkeeping standpoint, you're going to get crap out on the backside. You won't know if things are going well or not. You'll have no idea. And try doing your opening entry in your bookkeeping based on your buyer's statement, what used to be called the closing statement. Try entering that yourself. You'll screw it up. Unless you are a CPA, an accountant, a bookkeeper, and you actually know what's going on, I promise you you're going to screw this up. And why would you start off your business on the wrong foot? All of your shit's going to be screwed up from the beginning. And if you do finally figure it out and go back to fix it, it's going to be really, really expensive. So go find a good bookkeeper or CPA that has a real estate background and hopefully somebody that has done their own investing. Those are all the people that you're going to need as you're going through this process, as you're getting the property under contract and then getting it closed. Once you close, you're going to employ a cost segregation specialist and a property tax protest company. Protest your taxes every single year. I do it every year on every single property. Even if I've held it for 3, 4, 5 years, it doesn't matter. I always protest every year. And every year I get my property tax assessment, my property assessment lowered every single year. So you're always going to have somebody there, and you also got to keep in mind that you have to have a cost segregation specialist. And that's just basically accelerated depreciation. So after you close, you're going to have to find a good cost segregation specialist and a property tax protest company.